I can't believe 2024 is already over. Yeah, it's been quite the year. So let's go over my goals for 2024 and set up my planner for 2025, as well as going over how I'm changing up my systems. So let's do this. Hi, my name is Dawn Dalton. I am an author and a freelance writer, and to say 2024 didn't go the way I planned is the understatement of the year. I started off the year super hopeful. I had a lot of big goals. My word of the year was star, because it was going to be the year I became the star of my own life and put out my books. And then March and April, my life kind of went left turn at Albuquerque, and I had trouble balancing my work life with my writing life, with my freelancing life, and my goals kind of got pushed to the wayside. So let's start with my 2024 goals. And as you can see, for the most part, I missed most of my goals. And a lot of that's my own fault. I could have figured out the balance between work and life a lot quicker, but I was having problems switching from I get to write every day, all day, to I have to drive to work, do work, and then deal with the mental load afterwards, which a lot of writers do. So for the most part, my writing suffered, especially when I started going on work trips. The only goal that I actually completed was reading 52 books, and that was because most of those books were read at the beginning of the year. So yeah, I was supposed to finish writing 4 books this year, at least to the point where I could edit them and prep them for release. I did not. I think I finished 2. And out of the other big goal that I very specifically was setting out to do was to publish 2 books. I made it halfway through that goal and published Game On the 26th of March, right before I started my new job. So at least I got 1 book out. I did have to delay press start a few times due to work conflicts and just realizing that there needed to be more work done with it than I originally thought when I handed it to my beta readers. So to say I'm a little disappointed in the way my goals turned out is an understatement, and it's okay. I still wrote a lot of words. I still typed a lot of words. I don't actually have my final tallies because it's somewhere in the mess of my desk. That's going to be something that has to be dealt with so that I can go into this new year ready to hit the ground running. So let's go top down and set up 2025 and discuss how I'm changing my goals. Now, every year, since 2019, I have given myself a word of the year, something to kind of be the guiding star for that year, which is funny because last year was star. In the past, I've used words like fearless to remind myself that I can do everything. This year, my word of the year is magic, to kind of bring back that joy and sparkle to my life, because I feel like I've just been spinning my wheels a lot, especially in the last couple of years. So with that in mind, I set up my goals to make this year a magical girl transformation. As I was going through and figuring out exactly what I wanted to do with the new year and setting up my goals and who I wanted to be within, by the end of the year, I had in my head Sailor Moon doing the Moon Prism power makeup. And I love that idea that the entire year is going to be that long transformation scene. And then I overthought it. I'm like, well, I love Sailor Moon, I love Pre-Tier, I love Cardcaptor Sakura, so I can use each of those shows to be a different part of my life. And then I realized that no, there's a lot of stuff that I wanted to accomplish this year, and I needed to sort of get more granular with my goals. And so instead, I decided that I was going to use the planets as the different facets of my life. So very much like the Sailor Scouts. Each planet is being given a different aspect of my life. For the most part, I'm not going to go through all of them because some of them are very personal. Some of them are health related. And I just want to make sure that I can keep those parts of my life to myself. The most important one, of course, especially for this channel, is Mercury. That's my author stuff. And what I'm doing is getting granular with all of my goals. That's the one thing that I feel like I didn't give myself enough grace to do last year, was being able to have partial wins. It was all or nothing. I published 2 books or I didn't. I wrote 52 blogs or I didn't. I typed a ton of words or I didn't. And so this year I am actually going to go deeper with a lot of these goals and either split them up by quarter, or I'll have a few one-offs like redesigning my website. I have a lot of organizing I want to do this year, a lot of cleaning that I want to do this year. I also have a few goals that are untrackable or are, if I miss a day, does that count as me not making the goal? And so there's still a few goals that I still have to fine tune within the different planets, but I still have time. And giving each planet its own page means that I can actually add goals, write about why I'm doing this goal, and give myself more space to be able to track them. So for my author stuff, just like last year, write 52 blogs or Medium posts. Now below this one, I have actually split it up by quarter so I can better track which quarters I do well in, which ones I kind of flub, and get a better understanding of how I'm writing. Published 2 books, and underneath that I actually have space for both of those books, so I can get a partial win if Press Start is the only book that comes out this year. I am lowering my word count goals. That is the one thing I think I pushed myself a little bit too hard on last year with a job, and I know I'm going to be sent out more this year, is I tried to write too many words and put too much pressure on my writing. So I am going to back up just a little bit. And so my goal for typing is 300,000 words, which is less than 1,000 words a day. I'm going to write 500 pages, which is a lot smaller than the 700 and some odd pages that I tried to write last year. I want to fill 10 notebooks. I want to redesign my website. I want to go on a writing retreat. Like, I love my at-home writing retreats, but I think a cabin in the woods would be just. And then I also want to up my social media interaction by a certain percentage. And then I actually have it broken down on a post-it note somewhere in the mess of my desk as to what my starting social media is and where I'd like to be by the end of the year. One of the sections that I am having trouble figuring out exactly how I want to track is I want to be better with my time. And so I am going to be setting up a schedule and at least checking in and auditing how well it worked at the end of each quarter. And I think that will actually help me better utilize my time. And now a lot of the stuff in here also has like a lot of one-off goals, like redesign my website. That one I will probably get a little bit more granular when it comes time for me to redesign my website. A lot of my organizational goals are also one-offs. And then the other big thing for the year is obviously I am using the Happy Planner dashboard layout to be able to track everything. And for January at the very least, one of the things I'm doing is I've actually split up my morning routine and my evening routine into their composite parts so that I can see where I am actually having resistance to doing and completing, because it's usually only one or two things that keeps me from checking them off. Another thing that is making a reappearance this year is, of course, my commonplace notebook. This is where I write all of my work notes, scribble down book ideas, write my daily to-do lists, etc. This usually lives with me in my purse. I also have a smaller purse that this fits into perfectly, so it usually goes with me. Making a reappearance is, of course, my writer's binder. I didn't really get into this as much as I wanted to this last year, besides setting it up and adding a ton of ideas into my ideas section. I do want to go back in and start pulling those ideas and actually writing them. My on-the-go character, place, book things, basically my book Bibles. This is the one I have been using for the Call Sign series. All of my notes for the house that gaming built are in here. They have been super useful, super helpful to keep me organized so that I don't change eye colors or hair colors on characters from book 1 to book 4. A new-ish addition is this. This is a small Happy Planner vertical that I bought on clearance because it's only half a year. One of the things I was having problems with when I switched from my bullet journal to Happy Planner pages is I didn't have a good way to track daily what I was writing because I didn't have that delineation inside of my daily boxes. So I'm going to go back to tracking and keeping this on my desk, open to the day that I am supposed to be working, and see if that makes tracking a little bit easier. Other than that, I'm starting a new notebook for my workouts because I do like to track and make sure that I am being consistent, and of course all of the notebooks that I will be writing in when I'm working on my stories. Other than that, I am super hopeful that changing how I'm tracking my goals just slightly to make them more granular will actually help me continue to get that little bump of dopamine or serotonin to continue pushing through with my goals and find ways to make every day magical. And that's sort of how I want this entire year to go. I want to feel the joy and magic in my writing, in my everyday. And I just need to find those little glimmers. So if you're enjoying watching me grow and learn as a writer, be sure to feed the algorithm, boop that like button, and subscribe. And I will see you next time.